You ever have that feeling where you desperately want to change something about yourself? Become a bit more courageous or maybe more generous, more skilled at something? We think about it, we read books about it, we hope for it. Well, today we're going to dig into a really powerful idea, one inspired by the writer C.S. Lewis, that says real growth only happens when we stop watching from the sidelines and actually step into the heat. Right, let's just get into it. It's this all too human thing, isn't it? We want the prize, but we don't want to run the race. We love the idea of the warmth from the campfire, but we're kind of scared to get too close. This is what we can call the spectator's illusion. This belief that we can achieve some kind of deep transformation just by watching, by thinking our way into a new way of being. But as we're about to see, that's kind of like trying to become a master chef by only watching cooking shows. I mean, seriously. Think about that for a second. You could read every single book on hydrodynamics. You could watch hours of videos of Olympic swimmers and memorize every single stroke. But you and I both know, until you actually get in the water, you can't swim. Not really. You're just a very, very well-informed person standing on the beach. And this question, it just perfectly frames the problem we all face, that huge gap between knowing about something and actually doing it. And this right here, this quote from C.S. Lewis's book, Mere Christianity, is the absolute heart of what we're talking about today. It's our central metaphor. And it's so brilliantly simple, but gosh, it holds such a profound truth about how change really, truly works. It's not about wishing for something. It's all about proximity and participation. Okay, so let's break this down. Let's call it the near the fire principle. The logic is incredibly direct. The qualities you're looking for, courage, kindness, whatever, they aren't just abstract concepts floating around in the air. They are embodied in actions, in places, and in sources. So if you want to acquire a quality, you have to go where it is and engage with it directly. And here, you can see the difference so clearly. On one side, you've got this passive hope. You're reading about courage, it feels safe, it even feels productive. But what you're really building is knowledge, not character. But then on the other side, you have active pursuit, facing one small manageable fear. That is where courage is actually made. It's the difference between studying a map of a country and taking that first step across the border. And this is absolutely crucial. You can't just buy kindness or download a new patch for integrity. These aren't products you can just add to your cart. They are the results of a process, and often a really difficult one. It's about engaging with real life, making hard choices, and slowly, over time, becoming that person you want to be. It's an immersion, not a purchase. I love this because it brings a modern spin to that same core idea. The desire to change, that's the inspiration, and yeah, it's essential. It's the spark. But that spark is totally useless without the muscle of perspiration, the hard work, the effort, the consistent action. You can be inspired all day long to be a great musician, but trust me, inspiration is not going to practice the scales for you. So you see, this whole principle isn't just some dusty philosophical idea. It's a practical guide for how character gets formed in our everyday lives. Every single decision, every action, it's like a tiny hammer blow, shaping who we are, moment by moment. And this is where that great divide really shows up. Think about it. We can have a ton of intellectual knowledge about forgiveness. We can understand all the psychological benefits, the moral importance. But that is worlds away from the actual gut-wrenching experience of forgiving someone who has hurt you deeply. One is a theory, the other is life. One is standing on the shore, the other is getting in the water. I mean, just think about mastering any real skill, like learning an instrument or a language. It follows this exact pattern. Yeah, you start with a theory, that's fine, but the real growth happens in those messy, active steps that come after. And did you notice? Fail is built right into the process. That's not a bug, it's a feature. Getting near the fire means you have to accept the risk of maybe getting burned. It's in that daily practice, in the stumbles and the corrections, that knowledge finally turns into true ability. Now, C.S. Lewis, he actually took this metaphor one big step further. For him, the fire and the water weren't just nice analogies for skills or virtues. They were pointing towards something bigger, an ultimate source for the most important things in life. So for Lewis, who was a deeply religious thinker, the source of real joy, real peace, and what he called eternal life was God. And to experience those things, he argued, you couldn't just think about God or hold some belief in your mind. No, you had to actively draw near to that source through your choices, through prayer, through community. And it's really important to get what he meant by eternal life. He didn't just see it as something that happens after you die. He saw it as a quality of life, a deeper, more stable, more meaningful existence that you can start to experience right now, today, by consistently aligning your actions with your beliefs. It's this ongoing process of just staying near the fire. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We can step back from this specific theology for a moment and just ask the question in a universal way. Because regardless of what you believe, the principle holds true. There are sources for the qualities you want in your life. The real question is, what are they, and are you willing to get close to them?
So, what do we walk away with? Well, first, change is a contact sport. You gotta get on the field. Second, growth and comfort, they rarely live in the same house. The warmth is near the fire, but so is the heat. And third, desire is just the starting line. Consistent effort is the actual race. Perspiration really is the muscle of inspiration.
And that leaves us with this final, simple question to think about. What is the warmth you're looking for in your own life? Is it courage? Is it wisdom? Connection? And what is the one small, active step you could take, maybe even today, to move just a little bit closer to that fire?